a front row seat to the untold stories as we talk about how to live life on your terms. You're officially part of the inner circle. Welcome to Courtside with Courtney. And don't worry, I comped your ticket. Welcome back to another episode of Courtside with Courtney. Today we have something very fun. We're going to do a little State of the Union podcast, which basically means we're going to get into it. We're going to talk nitty-gritty details, things that I think are in, things I think are out. Yes, I do make the rules. Life little catch up, basically a bit of everything, but this is going to be sort of like a personal episode. So first up, I'm going to start with an in, Italy. You guys, my Italy trip was so amazing. 36 years old. It was the first time I've ever been to Italy. It has been on my bucket list, number one on my bucket list for as long as I could remember. It was extra special because it was a family trip. I got to go with my mom, my brother, my sister-in-law, and it was just such a good time. The people in Italy are so nice. Okay. Like we did Duolingo for a couple of weeks before we went. And so we had a few phrases we were testing out. We were trying, giving Italian the old college try, and they were so receptive and nice about it, which I feel like is not always the case when you travel places. A lot of places, like it's hit or miss. People are either like, nah, don't even try, like you're very American, or people are really grateful that you're at least trying to speak the language, even if you're fucking it up a little bit. And I found everyone in Italy to be so kind and funny. Like most people that we interacted with had a really good like sense of humor, and they were all very playful. So that was fun. The hotel that we stayed in was actually just the prettiest place I've ever been. I can drop that in the description for you guys if you want to know where we stayed. We also did a cooking class, which I would highly recommend. We literally went into the garden. And I mean, it's kind of depressing just in the sense that like, why don't we have this shit here? Like, I don't even know what we're eating in our grocery stores here. It's honestly concerning, but the way that everything is just so fresh, not over processed, it's just so good. Like the flavors are very bold because it's real food that you're eating. So we quite literally went into the garden. We would get like squash from the garden and strawberries, and they're just like dangling there on the vines, and cucumber. I mean, just like the most insane, amazing things. And we were in Amalfi, so it was lemons everywhere. Everything was lemon themed, which by the way, Kinsley apparently is now not a kid anymore at age 6. News to me. I am shopping in Italy, and there's like all these little shops. Okay. And then pretty much the only things I bought were a swimsuit because I needed one, some chocolate, like Italian chocolate, and then Kinsley 2 dresses. Okay. Oh, I did buy sunglasses. And I went and I was like so excited. These really cute little linen dresses with these lemons on them. And I got home, I put them on the bed, I laid them out. I was so excited. I was like, did you see the dresses I got you from Italy? And she was like, yeah. So the thing is, Mom, I'm just really not into lemons on my dresses. And I was like, oh, okay, sick. So apparently lemons are an out, I guess, according to Kinsley, but I think they're I love the lemon dresses. I also had this vision of her wearing the dress for so long in my mind because the guy who made the linen was this like old Italian man that was the most precious thing ever. And he was telling me that all of his linen was made in Italy, and not all of it is. He was like, a lot of it's made somewhere else, but mine's made in Italy. And he was so cute and sweet. And he was like, and when she outgrows this as a dress or it gets too short, you can cut the straps off because it's stretchy on the top and wears a skirt. I was like, oh my God, it's genius. We're going to have it for years. And then she was like, yeah, no, I'm not wearing that. So that was fun. But all in all, Italy was insane. The most beautiful, beautiful weather, the most, like the kindest people, the best food. I don't know if I believe the whole, like you can eat whatever you want and not gain a pound though, because it definitely came back with like an extra layer, but it was worth it because you have to eat the pasta in Italy. Okay, out, not being a girl's girl. Not being a girl's girl is just absolutely not the vibe. Not being a girl's girl could look like a lot of things. It could look like being a shitty friend, backstabbing somebody, like not genuinely being happy for someone, whether you're aware of it or not, texting guys that have girlfriends, really anytime, but like at night, like just weird shit. Just don't do it. Like, just don't be weird, you know? I don't know why this isn't common sense for some people, but it isn't. And the fact of the matter is, like, especially when it comes to guys with girlfriends, you do stuff like that, it's like, it's not great, you know? And they're going to tell their girlfriend if they're like a halfway decent guy. And now you're sitting here looking a little silly. So just don't do it. Don't be shitty. Karma is a very real thing, you know? And I just feel like it's one of those things that will come back and bite you, whether it's now or at some point in the future. I just really try. I think it's like one of those things. And I try to surround myself with people that are girls too. And I'm very mindful of that when it comes to friends, because you can tell the people that are happy for you and that aren't able to be happy for you in your highs are only happy for you in your lows. Like when you're struggling, not happy for you, but they're only like there for you when you're in your lows and you're struggling. And then you have a high or really a big win and they don't say anything and they don't congratulate you. It's like those people aren't really there for you. They don't really want to see you win. And I think if you do less talking, not only in relationships, but in friendships, you can sort of set apart the people who really do want the best for you and the people that don't. And it can really be detrimental if you surround yourself with people that don't want the best for you. Because the truth of the matter is those people, the people that you surround yourself with on a daily basis are truly influencing your life. They really are. The content that you consume is influencing your life. The people that you surround yourself are influencing your life. All of it matters. And at the end of the day, if you're putting yourself around people that truly don't want to see you win and that are always kind of like sabotaging you along the way, it really fucks you up. I think Avery and I even talked about this on one of our episodes like back in the day, but it really does make a huge difference. So try to be mindful of who you surround yourself with. Girls only. It's just simply not the vibe. I promise. In the Ninja Creami, I feel like everyone and their dog has been hyping up the Ninja Creami, but it's honestly so good. Like it is absolutely worth the hype. I got it. And then I feel like it was on sale everywhere. So I'm going to be sharing it. I'll keep pushing it on my stories for you guys. That way, if you do want it and you haven't grabbed it, you can get it. But drop your recipes in the comments because I am on one with the Ninja Creami. Basically, if you don't know what it is, it's this Ninja like blender machine, but it allows you to make so many different things. You can make sorbet, you can make slushies, you can make, basically anything. Ice cream, gelato, all the things that you want to blend and make like yummy and frozen and good, the different textures you can make in the Ninja Creami. I think tonight I want to try to do a sorbet, maybe do like mango, pineapple or something along those lines. And you just add a little liquid into it. Maybe I'll do like coconut water or I don't know. I don't know yet. But last night I did milk, chocolate protein powder, and then a couple of cherries. And then I topped it with the Lily's like unsweetened chocolate chips and fresh cherries. And it was unreal. I mean, it tasted like a Wendy's Frosty, but it's healthy. It's a literal protein shake that tastes like Wendy's Frosties. So I don't know where this thing has been my whole life, but I highly suggest you hop on the train sooner than later because it's just, you get the fix. You can basically get like froyo vibes, but you know exactly what you're putting into it. So it's not junk. It's not like an absorbent amount of sugar. It's also just fucking fun to make, like little experiments. I haven't had a bad one yet. I want to make one with coffee. Kind of want to try like coffee or peanut butter or I don't know. Like I have a lot of ideas, but I'm just going to say hop on the train now. Out, late night scrolling. I have had the worst habit of late night scrolling. I think it was the full moon last night, but I kept waking up in the middle of the night. It was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I was sending Audrey recipes in the middle of the night. I was like, look what they're doing with cottage cheese these days. Like, we got to try this. I just could not fall asleep. And I think because I then picked my phone up and was scrolling, I turned my mind on. So I'm saying like out is late night scrolling because it's just not good for your brain. And I know it. I'm guilty of this one. So I'm calling myself out here. I need to be better about not like extra. It's nice at the end of the day to just like check up on what you missed. But I feel like at a certain point, put it away. I'll still respond to like a text and stuff, but I just don't need to be scrolling TikTok and Instagram, at 1 a.m. because I can't fall asleep. Like I will not turn my mind off at that point. Another major so the Shields household, basically the kitchen lately has had some big old upgrades. Okay. And no, I'm not talking about marble backsplash. I'm talking about machinery, the Ninja Creami, the espresso machine. This espresso machine, you guys, like it's the Breville one. I don't know the exact model off the top of my head, but I will drop it again in the description. Quite literally changed my coffee life. It is the smoothest, the creamiest, the smoothest, the most delicious tasting coffee and espresso I have ever had. It's so good. And obviously I'm still topping it with my typical Cloud coffee creamer. Now the coffee underneath it is that much better. And I always thought an espresso machine was really hard to use and super time consuming. For some reason in my mind, it's like a hobby, right? Like it's something you learn to do. And I know it actually for sure is a hobby. There's people that are really good at it and they have latte art and and all that. But like, it's actually not hard. At least this machine makes it really easy. So I don't know. It's pricey, but it's worth it. And if you're feeling like a little intimidated by it, I think it's pretty easy to use. You could try a bunch of different ones. So far, I've done the double espressos and doppio espresso, as they say in Italy, and the Americano, ironically. Out, haters. I'm just so over it, you guys. I haven't even like seen anything negative lately. I just don't even look at it. I think like sites on the internet where you go and just bash people are the worst, lowest, most pathetic, like hilarious places on planet Earth to me. To me, it's just a black hole in the internet. And if I don't look at it, it doesn't exist. So you spending your time talking about me or anyone else just makes you look like such a loser. Like, I don't even know how else to say that. It's just absolutely not the vibe, nor will it ever be the vibe. And I think if you're someone that does spend your free time doing that, it's just kind of sad. Like, I feel bad for people that have to live their life like that because they just must be really, I don't know if it's bored or unhappy or what, but like, you could actually just be bettering yourself for your life, but instead you're spending time tearing other people down. So honestly, I haven't looked at like negative sites or anything like that in probably the better part of 3 years at this point. It's been a long time. You know, you get the occasional like hate comment or DM or something like that. But other than that, it just really doesn't exist to me. And it's so freeing. I do like think about it in the sense that I think about feeling like sorry for those people, to be honest, but it doesn't like impact how I live my daily life. Now, if I read that shit, it for sure would. So I just have a boundary with myself. I just don't read it. And I think it's honestly like pretty like icky. Like, I just can't imagine walking around spending my everyday life like thinking so much about other people like that. So I think if you are one of those people, I don't know. I feel like if you're listening, maybe there's nothing I can say that's going to matter because you're going to hate me or other people regardless. But I do think you could change. Like, you could just better yourself and work on yourself. And if you're jealous of somebody, you could decide to improve your own life instead of just shitting on other people. I think you would be happier at the end of the day. But honestly, your call, babe. In cottage cheese. I'm so about it right now. I love cottage cheese. I feel like you could just put that shit on anything. I like it in my eggs. I'm just saw this recipe when I was scrolling late night, breaking my rule in the middle of the night. On there's like rotisserie chicken and banana peppers, is that what they're called? And cucumbers and cottage cheese. And it's almost like basically it's like a pasta salad without the pasta. I think that's how they described it. A little bit of dressing. It just looks so good. Onion. I'm very into onion. Even though I'm not into what it does to my breath, but I am into onion lately. And just tossing that whole thing up sounds so good and refreshing. I feel like it's a really good, easy way to get extra protein. And I admittedly am not the best at getting in all my protein, but I'm really trying lately. So I think that's why I like cottage cheese, the Ninja Creami. They're all helping me up my protein, get those gains. Cause you know, your girl needs to be packing a little more in the back. So I'm working on it, but the cottage cheese is definitely helping, I feel like. Out, fringe friends. I mean, I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, but people that are sort of on the fringe, people that you dread texting back, or again, you know, don't have your best interest at heart, or who leave you out and don't really include you, and you're constantly like trying to hang out with, like, fuck those people. Like, go and spend your time alone, or spend your time with people that are good friends or your family, or just at least like searching that out in some capacity. Put your energy into people that are giving it back to you as well. Fringe friends, people that you don't trust, people that don't include you, people that make you feel like shit in any form or fashion are just out. It's 2024. Like, we don't have time for fringe friends. At least I don't. So if I don't text you back, now you know. In hair as an accessory. Okay, maybe this is just like a personal thing. So I was in 5th grade at a birthday party. Shout out Tiffany Smolik. It was like back in the day. I don't know if anyone else had this weird phase, but people would do like hotel birthdays. I don't know why, because like now thinking back on that, I'm like, I would never rent out a hotel room for my elementary school kid to like have a party in. I don't know, but it was like a whole phase. Like, it wasn't just Tiffany, which I love Tiffany. She's great, but it wasn't just Tiffany. It was like everybody, right? It was like people were always doing this. I think it was her party. I'm pretty sure. But it was like one of those things where it was a trend at the moment. You got sleepovers, which is a whole other tangent for me. I will not let Kinsley do sleepovers, but a topic for another time. I cut my bangs in 5th grade at this party and they weren't great. They were wispy. It was with the times. It was trendy. It was of the moment, if you will. They were a little short. Okay. They're a little short. They're a little stringy. They weren't really doing me the favors I wanted them to be doing me. And in 5th grade, I couldn't afford that. And so I get in the car after the birthday party, and because everyone was doing the party, right? Which like should have been my first mistake. Like if everyone's doing it, a bandwagon thing is just like really not the vibe anymore. But back then I thought it was cool. And you know what? I guess it still is cool in the sense that like, it's just hair. That's kind of the moral of the story is that my mom, I get in the car and I'm like, I cut my bangs. And I'm like on the edge of a mental breakdown. So I'm like, oh, they look like terrible. And my mom's like, you know what? It's just hair. We drove to CVS. We got bobby pins. We pinned it back and we moved on. So I think like hair as an accessory, I feel like is my new in. Make it long. You want it long? Make it long. You want it short? Chop it off. You want to dye it? Dye it. You want to, I don't know. You know what I mean? Who am I to say? Just do whatever you want because it's fun. Like it's fun to switch up your hair. If you've had your same hair for like a million years, maybe try to switch it up. Cut a front layer, really go crazy. I think making it a moment is cool. I struggle with the in-between hair. I think it looks great on other people. Just hard for me. I love it long or I want to like chop it all the way off. I got a DM the other day of someone saying, you look so much cooler with short hair. And I was like, I just responded, thank you. Like, what do you say to that? But I kind of agree. I mean, I do kind of agree. I do think it's like a little cooler, edgier, short hair, but long hair is very fun right now. I'm loving it for summer, but different strokes for different folks. But all that to say, make it fun. Have a good time with it. Chop it off, grow it out, dye it, curl it, straighten it, braid it, do nothing to it. I don't know. Do something to it. Out. Feeling insecure is so out. So again, this is going to come down to who you hang out with, your friends, who you spend your time with, what you consume, who you date. Don't hang out with people who make you feel like shit about yourself. Don't watch people's content who make you feel like shit about yourself. Some of this too is like self-regulation. You can't be out here blaming other people. Oh, well, you made me feel like shit because you posted this. Just don't watch it. Have some self-regulation. If it makes you feel like shit, that's okay. Totally okay. Not everybody's going to be for everybody, but learn to create those boundaries. But there was a time, to be honest, I feel like swimsuit season every year rolls around and I don't know many women. I really don't. Sadly, I don't know many women that are like, oh, I feel 10 out of 10 in a bikini every time. I really don't. Like, I do think that to a degree, everyone has some level of insecurity. Some people's a lot larger than others. But I do think that if you look back on like old photos of yourself, do me a favor and have an experiment. Look back on some old photos of yourself and remember you probably felt insecure in that photo and you probably looked great. Like when I never have once seen someone walking down the beach and had at least me personally, had like a negative thought about them or, oh, they shouldn't wear that or they don't look good. Like I never think that, especially when people are walking down looking confident. I'm like, you go girl, like get it. Own it, rock it. Doesn't matter. You can look so good, so hot, so confident if you have the energy to back it up. That's really all it's about. As long as you're confident and you own it, it's going to be beautiful. And I feel like that's one of those things that's easier said than done. Obviously, like I still have my moments, of course, like everybody does. That's the point. But I think shifting focus when you have those moments, instead of like looking at yourself in a bikini and being like, ugh, like I have some loose skin on the bottom of my stomach. Like I had a kid, right? So when I sit down, I'm like, I noticed that. Instead of noticing that, it's like, damn, my legs look good in this bikini right now. Like instead of focusing on the negative thing, try and spin it and focus on a positive thing. Because when you go into the world and you have a confident air about you, people notice, you radiate, and people are going to think you look great no matter what you're wearing, no matter what size you are, no matter like any of that, you're just going to look great because you feel good. And that's really all that matters. And I think if anyone else has anything negative to say, then again, like fuck that person. Like they're a loser. Dressing in your season. I feel like dressing for your season is so in. I notice the biggest difference personally in how I look and how I feel when I dress in colors that are flattering to me. Like I'm a winter, so white is one of my colors. If you're watching this on YouTube, White just makes me pop. Cream, I can wear it, but it doesn't really do me any favors. And it's kind of like, why would you spend your life wearing colors that don't do you favors? You know, you bought it, let it work for you. So for me, I think like, yeah, I'm not saying go dump your closet. There's going to be tons of things where it's just like, I love this color. So maybe it's not my color, but like I really like it and it makes me happy. Obviously, totally fine. But I do think there is validity in dressing in a color palette that flatters you because it just does boost your confidence. You're going to look better. You're going to feel better. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. In is going to be being spontaneous, taking the trip. I love a plan. You guys know I genuinely do love a plan. Like I'm such a planner for whatever reason. I love that TikTok sound that's like, yeah, I'm totally down to go with the flow, but like what time does the flow start? But I think this year I've said yes to a lot more things and I've just gone with it. I said yes to like certain trips that have led to really good and exciting things. And I think at the end of the day, sometimes you just have to do it for the plot, full send it and say yes. And you never know where it may get you, a lesson or two or something like really great. So for me, like being spontaneous and just kind of going with it is a major in. And out, apologizing for shit you didn't do wrong. I recently rescinded an apology. Okay. I resent a whole ass apology because it was something I had apologized for years ago. And I really thought about it and the full moon got into me. I don't know what happened, but I thought, you know what? I'm not sorry. I actually didn't do anything wrong. I was people pleasing and appeasing. And I was sitting here trying to like bend and contort myself to have you like me. And I don't apologize because I'm not sorry because I didn't do anything wrong. So I think there's like a lot of beauty in apologizing if you actually did something wrong, obviously. And if you know that you're in the wrong, of course, an apology is beautiful. But if you didn't do anything wrong, stand your ground and throw the fucking grenade, you know, so be it. In is going to be long distance relationships. Okay. Especially in my case, not that long, not too far, you know, not like more than a drive per se, but at least in the temporary, it's working for me. I'm having the time of my life and things are really good. So maybe that's a whole other episode, but I think eventually I'm going to be over that specific era, but then, you know, we'll just need to enter a new era at that point. And out is hot take a Russian manicure. This is going to ruffle some feathers because I feel like people are just really obsessed with Russian manicures right now. And I want to say this because at first glance, that could sound like, oh, you got it and you didn't like it. And that's not the case. The girl that I went to is the best person to go to. She's really talented, really sweet, really good at what she does, very entrepreneurial, all like good things to say about her specifically. But for me personally, they last, like they're supposed to last a really long time and they cost an arm and a leg. They're so expensive and they take a really long time. So I just can't justify sitting there for that long for my nails. Like, I don't think anyone's looking at my cuticles that hard. I'm also indecisive, guys. I'm a Libra, you know? And so for me, like, I didn't want the nail color on my nails for a month. Like, I was bored after 2 weeks. I was like crawling out of my skin to get them off my nails. And I just paid an absurd amount of money. So for me, my lifestyle, my preferences, they don't make sense. I do think they make sense for some people. If you're really, really busy, if you're like a corporate girly, if you always want your nails to be neutral, like blah, 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 I think there's definitely a customer for it. I'm just not her. One more in, because we got to end on a high note, obviously. The outlets. The outlets are popping right now. Like the designer shit at the outlets right now, you guys, are so good. And the prices, obviously it's expensive, but not at all compared to the price that you're actually paying in the store. For some of this stuff, I've been looking at it for months and months, like say in Saint Laurent in the store. And then I went to the outlet and it's like a 40% of the price or something. Like it's insane. So ins are also the outlets. I love you guys. I will drop anything that I mentioned that I needed to drop in the description below. Don't forget to let me know your Ninja Creami recipes. Let me know if you want some more relationship tea. I think I might be, nearing a time when I'm ready to share like a little bit, but TBD on that. I love you guys and we'll see you in my next episode. Bye.